You know the exact feeling. You send a text. Just a simple, "I can't make it tonight, I'm too tired." But 3 minutes later you are staring at your phone, your heart beating a little too fast. Because they replied, "Oh really? But you were just at the gym yesterday. Are you mad at me?" And instantly your fingers start flying across the keyboard. You start typing out a massive paragraph. You explain exactly why you are tired. You bring up the gym. You bring up your work week. You bring up your sleep schedule. You are desperately trying to prove to them that your no was valid, that you aren't a bad friend, that you aren't lazy, that they shouldn't be mad at you. You hit send. And the moment the message goes through, a heavy, sickening feeling drops into your stomach. You just gave away your power. You took a simple boundary, and you turned it into a courtroom defense. You put yourself on the witness stand, and you handed them the judge's gavel. We have all been there, the desperate need to be understood, the fear of being misjudged, the exhausting habit of over-explaining our choices, our feelings, and our boundaries to people who haven't even earned the right to understand them. But here is the brutal truth. Every time you over-explain yourself, you are telling the world that you do not trust your own decisions. You are signaling that their opinion of you is more important than your own reality. The ancient Stoics, the emperors, the slaves, the warriors who mastered the human mind, knew that over-explaining is the fastest way to drain your authority. They knew that true power does not need to justify itself. Today, I am going to give you 10 Stoic lessons to stop explaining yourself, reclaim your power, and become completely untouchable. Let us begin. Lesson 1. The illusion of being understood. The first thing you must realize is that you cannot control what other people think of you. Period. Epictetus, the great Stoic teacher who was born a slave, built his entire philosophy on one simple rule, the dichotomy of control. There are things up to us and things not up to us. Your actions, your words, and your integrity are up to you. But other people's opinions, judgments, and misunderstandings, those are strictly not up to you. When you over-explain yourself, you are trying to control the uncontrollable. You are trying to force someone else's brain to see things exactly your way. But people do not see the world as it is. They see the world as they are. They filter everything you say through their own insecurities, their own biases, and their own ego. You could write them a 10-page essay explaining your side of the story. And if they are committed to misunderstanding you, they will still misunderstand you. Stop trying to manage their perception of you. It is a game you cannot win, and playing it will only make you lose your peace. Lesson 2. No is a complete sentence. Seneca, one of the wisest men in Rome, was constantly bombarded by people asking for his time, his money, and his favors. He realized that the only way to protect his life was to master the art of the short refusal. When we say no, and then add a long explanation, we are not being polite. We are actually inviting negotiation. When you say, "I can't come to the party because my dog is sick, and I have to work early and my car is making a weird noise," you are giving the other person data to argue with. They will say, "Oh, your dog is fine, bring him. You can sleep in tomorrow. I'll drive you." But when you say, "No, I won't be able to make it. Thank you for the invite," and then close your mouth, there is nothing for them to argue with. You have drawn a line in the sand. A boundary without an explanation is a wall. A boundary with an explanation is a door. Stop giving them the door. Lesson 3. Silence is a complete sentence. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his private journal, "Speak only what is necessary and in few words." We over-explain because we are terrified of silence. When we set a boundary or state an opinion and the other person just stares at us, the silence feels heavy. It feels awkward. So what do? We fill the silence. We keep talking. We start backpedaling. We dilute our own point just to make the other person comfortable. The Stoic embraces the silence. When you state your position, stop talking. Look them in the eye. Let the silence hang in the air. them be the ones who feel the awkwardness. Let them be the ones who have to figure out how to respond. When you become comfortable with silence, you stop leaking your power. You let your words stand on their own weight. Lesson 4. Your character is your only defense. There is a famous Stoic maxim: waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. When someone accuses you of something or misunderstands your intentions, your ego wants to jump in and defend your character. No, you don't understand. I'm not like that. I'm actually a really caring person. But the Stoics knew that words are cheap. Anyone can claim to be good. Anyone can claim to be smart or kind or successful. Your character is not proven in your explanations. It is proven in your actions over time. If someone thinks you are selfish, do not write them a speech about how generous you are. Just go out and do something generous. If they think you are incompetent, do not argue with them. Just do the work flawlessly. Let your life be the explanation. Let your results be the defense. When you do this, you free yourself from the exhausting need to verbally prove your worth to people who are not paying attention anyway. Lesson 5. The trap of external validation. Explain ourselves so much. Deep down, it is because we want them to say, "Oh, I totally understand, you're right." We want their validation. We want them to agree with us so we can feel okay about our own choices. But the Stoics viewed the need for external validation as a form of slavery. Epictetus said, "If you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid." He meant that if you require the crowd to clap for you, you are a slave to the crowd. When you over-explain, you are handing the keys to your self-esteem to someone else. You are saying, "Please validate my choice so I can feel good about it." Take the keys back. You do not need their permission to make your choices. You do not need their agreement to know that you are right. Validate yourself. Trust your own ruling faculty. Lesson 6. People only hear what they want to hear. This is a hard pill to swallow, but you must accept it. Most people are not listening to understand you. They are listening to reply. They are listening to confirm their own biases. If a person is committed to seeing you as the villain in their story, no amount of explaining will change the script. They will twist your words. They will ignore your context. They will take the one sentence you said out of 100 and use it against you. The Stoics were incredibly realistic about human nature. They knew that most people are driven by emotion, not reason. Stop casting your pearls before swine. Stop offering deep, nuanced explanations to people who only have the attention span for gossip and drama. Save your words for the few people who actually listen with an open heart. For everyone else, give them the bare minimum. Lesson 7. The let them principle. This is the Stoic concept of amor fati, loving your fate, applied to other people's misunderstandings. If your friend wants to misunderstand your text message, let them. If your coworker wants to assume you were being rude when you were just being direct, let them. If your family member wants to be offended by your boundary, let them. You are not responsible for managing their emotional reactions. You are only responsible for your own integrity. When you adopt the let them mindset, a massive weight falls off your shoulders. You realize that their misunderstanding is their problem, not yours. It is a reflection of their internal world, not your external reality. Let them be confused. Let them be upset. You just keep walking your path. Ask Lesson 8. Over-explaining is a trauma response, not politeness. We often tell ourselves that we are over-explaining because we are being polite or being a good communicator. But the Stoics would ask you to look deeper. Are you being polite or are you fawning? Fawning is a trauma response. It is when you try to keep someone happy or avoid their anger by over-accommodating them and over-justifying your existence. It comes from a place of fear. It comes from the belief that if you don't explain yourself perfectly, they will abandon you or attack you. Stoicism is not about being a people pleaser. It is about being virtuous, courageous, and just. Sometimes, Being just means letting someone be temporarily disappointed in you. Courage is looking someone in the eye, stating your boundary without a paragraph of excuses, and being willing to let them be mad about it. True politeness does not require you to set yourself on fire to keep someone else warm. Lesson 9. Protect your energy fuel. Think of your mental and emotional energy like fuel in a gas tank. Every single day, you have a limited amount of this fuel. When you spend 20 minutes explaining yourself to a toxic coworker, or an hour arguing with a family member about your life choices, you are pouring your precious fuel onto the ground. You are draining the very energy you need to build your business, heal your body, or love your partner. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily to focus only on what is essential. Over-explaining is never essential. It is a leak in your gas tank. When you stop explaining yourself, you suddenly find that you have so much more energy. You are no longer exhausted by the end of the day. You have reclaimed your fuel. Use it to build your empire, not to defend your existence. Lesson 10. Become comfortable. Being the villain. This is the final and most powerful lesson. If you stop explaining yourself, if you start setting firm boundaries without apologies, if you start speaking less and meaning more, some people are going to get upset. They will call you arrogant. They will say you have changed. They will tell other people that you are difficult to deal with. They will make you the villain in their story, and you have to be okay with that. The Stoics knew that if you live a life of true virtue and self-mastery, you will inevitably clash with people who are committed to their own ego and comfort. You cannot grow without leaving some people behind. You cannot set boundaries without offending those who benefited from your lack of them. Marcus Aurelius started every morning by telling himself, "Today I will meet meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, envious, and unsocial people." He accepted that they would judge him, and he accepted that he did not care. You must become comfortable being the villain in the stories of people who do not matter, because when you stop caring about being the good guy in their story, you finally become the hero in your own. The ultimate shift. Let us review the shift we are making today. You are moving from the person who begs to be understood to the person who simply is. You are moving from the person who defends their boundaries to the person who enforces them. You are moving from the person who leaks their power through words to the person who holds their power in silence. The next time you feel that urge to over-explain, the next time your fingers start hovering over the keyboard to type out a massive paragraph of justification, stop. Take a deep breath, look at the screen, delete the paragraph. Type a simple, "No, I can't make it," or "I understand you see it that way," or simply, "That is my decision." Hit send, and then put the phone down. Your heart might beat a little fast for a minute. The silence might feel a little heavy, but let it sit in that discomfort. Because on the other side of that discomfort is your freedom. You do not owe the world an explanation for how you live your life. You do not owe anyone a defense of your character. Your life, your actions, and your quiet confidence are the only explanation anyone needs. As Epictetus said, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Stop trying to prove them wrong. Start proving yourself right. Guard your words, protect your energy, and never ever explain yourself to someone who is committed to misunderstanding you. If this video gave you the courage to stop over-explaining and start reclaiming your power, make sure to like, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Let me know in the comments, what is one situation where you catch yourself over-explaining the most? I read every single comment. Until next time, stay quiet, stay grounded, and stay untouchable.